Up next on We Are Marshall today, brand new and ready to roll out health care. We'll have details on a mobile clinic for children.
Plus a camp to jazz up the summer for some high school students. These stories and more up next on We Are Marshall today.
And welcome to We Are Marshall today. I'm Leah Clark Payne.
And I'm Dan Hollis. Marshall University's School of Medicine has long been recognized for its outstanding delivery of healthcare to rural parts of the state.
That tradition continues now with the launch of a brand new mobile clinic that was purchased through a partnership that includes the Children's Health Fund and Walmart.
The Children's Health Fund is very dedicated to the health care of kids here in West Virginia as well as around the country, and to launch a new mobile medical clinic. It's a very exciting time because we know that healthcare is going to get out to the rural communities and some of the areas that don't have access to traditional healthcare.
It is a way of tearing down barriers so that parents can feel good about being able to provide healthcare for their children, and it's one less worry and one less decision that they have to make.
We go into the schools 3 days a week, and we see anywhere from a handful of kids each visit at each school to anywhere from 30 to 40 kids each day, and it's unbelievable.
I work in Logan County, so in order to take the kids to the doctor, I had to take off from work to do that, and it was an all-day thing. So this van being there at the school, it not only allowed my children to get the health care that they needed, but it also allowed me to be able to take them to the doctor and also go on to work and, get the money that we needed to live on as well.
I was diagnosed with ADD when I first met Dr. Pino, and I don't think that I would have. I think school would have been a lot harder if it wasn't for her. She was so dedicated to helping me with my schoolwork, and she always encouraged me, to try as hard as I could.
I am usually not at a loss for words, but I am today. That's how much this means to me, because having this brand new medical clinic that we can take everywhere, it's just a wonderful way that we can bring health care to the children here in Huntington, but also in rural areas. And it's a great way to show when you make partnerships what you can accomplish, because this is a partnership of the medical school at Marshall, the Children's Health Fund, Cabell Huntington Hospital, and Walmart. So the more people you bring into your organization, the more resources you have that you can use and help the children that need the help.
What a great story, and safe travels to the team providing health care across southern West Virginia. We now welcome to We Are Marshall today Dr. Chuck Clements, who is involved in another medical outreach program here at Marshall University. Dr. Clements, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself to start off.
I'm a 1972 graduate of West Point. I spent 21 years in the Army, and during that time I was on the National Ski Patrol and found out that I really liked taking care of people. So as it became time to address my retirement, I looked into medicine, found it was a good fit. When I interviewed at Marshall, I found that Marshall was an excellent fit for me personally. Went to medical school here starting in 1993, graduated in 97, went family practice residency here, and I like the school, I like the town, so I stayed here, and I'm currently one of the clinical professors of family medicine here.
Wow, great story. You are part of a unique medical outreach, as I alluded to earlier. You help the homeless. Tell us a little bit about that project.
It's a project that was thought up, initiated by some third-year medical students here at Marshall. They had been going down at Harris Riverfront Park as part of a Feeding the Homeless ministry, and noticed that there were some health issues with some of the people they were taking care of. So 3 of them got together and put together a plan to do some treatment, some health screening treatment of some of the people that were going down there. They approached me and asked for my assistance on that, to some degree sponsor it and help them set that up. And we've been going down there since about January, taking care of people that show up on Saturday mornings to basically get some food, get some clothing, and we've added a new dimension to that in providing medical screening for those same people.
What are some of the obstacles that are involved in helping the homeless medically?
The biggest obstacle, I think, is follow-up. We can go down there, we can diagnose things, we can establish some treatment options for them. And it's not just medical. It's, we have representatives from social services down there, so we can get them help at various levels, counseling, other things. The biggest obstacle is follow-up, because we'll see people down there who really don't have much of a permanent address. They won't have phones where we can call and contact them later. So I would say the biggest obstacle is follow-up. We're sometimes not able to give medicines because if they have an allergic reaction to it, that would be a problem, and they wouldn't have any way to get in touch with us, and we wouldn't have any way to follow up with them. So I think that's the biggest obstacle.
Are there certain ailments that you see more often in a homeless population?
To a large degree, we see the same things that are endemic to everybody in West Virginia. We have blood pressure, diabetes, those are some of the big ones. There's a lot of acute illnesses. Respiratory is a big one. We've had wounds come down there that needed some treatment. But in general, the people that we're seeing have many of the same illnesses that are endemic to this region.
Well, obviously what you're doing is a great benefit to the people you're helping, but I wonder, how does it help your students?
I think they get an awful lot out of it, because medicine is a very personal relationship. And one of the things that we can do with students very easily is teach them a lot of the academic skills. What antibiotic works for this disease? What procedure fixes this? The big challenge that only comes with experience is the ability to form a relationship with the person you're treating. This is a population who has some different issues than the population in general. They have some emotional issues, they have some substance abuse issues, not all, but probably a higher percentage than the population in general. And I think it's useful for students to meet these people, learn how to communicate with them, and it's a way that they can enhance their communication skills, because they have to project to that person their concern, because in many cases these are folks that are dealing with issues where they're not comfortable around authority figures. Mm-hmm. And anytime you put the stethoscope on, that's a badge that they don't often get to interact with. So I think the students get a lot out of it in their ability to communicate and form a bond with people that may be more difficult for a lot of different reasons than the average citizen of West Virginia.
And it's also part of Marshall's role in the community, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I found that particularly the students that got involved in this, they identified a need that was outside the box, so to speak. And we would like to think that we're addressing not just rural areas. There are other unmet needs in the state and in the region. These students identified that need and took action to take care of it. And I think that it's important that a doctor be more than just somebody who sits inside their office or the hospital. There's a lot of reasons that physicians would do that, but I think we need to become members of the community, get out into the community, just like the rural health initiative that you talked about previously. This is just one more aspect of what the school tries to do to become part of the community and not insular from the community.
And the van that you use to help this homeless population also has other uses, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've used the van in other venues. We've used it for health screening at some of the events in town, like the Ambrose Run, where we do health screening. It's been used at the soccer tournaments that came to town and brought thousands of people in here. We've used it for that. In fact, without the mobile medical van, which is provided free of charge to us by the Robert C. Byrd Rural Health Center, it gives us the capability of evaluating people in an office setting. Without that van, again, we receive no funding. Everybody's a volunteer. All the supplies, the use of the van is provided by the Rural Health Center. We would be forced to evaluate people under a tent or just out in the open. With that, we can go year-round because it provides shelter during rain, which we had during one weekend, during the snow, the cold, and it's equipped so that it's effectively a small office, so we are able to do the same sort of skills, apply the same techniques that we would in the office.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Dr. Clements, for being here. Coming up later on We Are Marshall Today, the sights and sounds of Jazz Mutaz. Stay with us for details.
As you think about your future, who's your competition? Who are your chief competitors? I notice some of you looking to your right and left at your neighbors. You need to think bigger, much bigger. Choose Marshall University. Big enough to matter, small enough to care. Immerse yourself in your learning. Connect with your professors. And have fun learning. That's important too. Find your passion. Pursue your dreams. Marshall University.
My name's Emily, and in 7 years, I'll be an alcoholic. I'll start drinking in 8th grade, but my parents won't really notice because I'll do okay in school and everything will seem okay, but everything won't be okay.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
Marshall University has received a $750,000 federal grant from the National Institutes of Health to conduct new medical research. The grant is part of a larger $20 million project awarded to the University of Kentucky. It's associated with the Clinical and Translational Science Program, which is aimed at speeding the time between laboratory discoveries and patients.
Strategic goals of the CTSA Consortium generally are to accelerate, advance, and translate research discoveries in ways that lead to enhanced bedside patient care, treatment, and improved clinical outcomes. Inclusion in the 60-member national CTSA network of biomedical research institutions provides further validation of the quality of the scientific investigation being conducted here at Marshall and our commitment to provide better health care for the citizens of West Virginia and the entire Appalachian region.
Marshall will receive the money through a subcontract with the University of Kentucky.
Marshall University named its Employee of the Year earlier this summer during the annual Service Awards luncheon. Sherry Stepp is the director of University College at Marshall University. University College coordinates retention efforts at the school. Stepp has been at Marshall for 20 years. Congratulations to Sherry Stepp. The Marshall University community recently reached out to hundreds of children in the Huntington area by helping with the 4th annual Children's Arts Festival extravaganza. Marshall art education majors led by Assistant Professor Mary B. Barnes designed and prepared many of the art stations. The Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce hosts the event every year with assistance from Marshall and other community groups.
10 high school students from around the country recently participated in a journalism workshop at Marshall University. The 4-day immersion allowed students to learn about the field of journalism.
They come here and get instruction from professors with detailed backgrounds in all areas of journalism and mass communications, both print and broadcast. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for the students, and it's a fun time for all of us who get to help teach.
Students attending the workshop did so free of charge. The Herald-Dispatch, Marshall's Office of Multicultural Affairs, and the School of Journalism and Mass Communications provided support. Marshall University welcomed West Virginia's 4th Annual Homeland Security Summit and Expo to its Huntington campus in June.
Dan, the two-day event allowed first responders and top-level administrators to exchange ideas and see some new technologies. From the latest in emergency preparedness to combating cyber threats, organizers of the recent Homeland Security Summit say efforts to keep the country safe are continually evolving. Jimmy Jeanette is West Virginia's Director of Homeland Security, and he says staying ahead of the curve is essential.
The whole purpose of the summit is to bring together key officials from all levels of government to let them know what the latest technologies are, and that's what you see here today is demonstrations of a lot of the response capabilities that the state and the local agencies have and what they've built up since funding was provided from Homeland Security after 9/11.
National Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, who served as the summit's marquee speaker, told reporters that while America is safer today than it was 10 years ago, citizens must remain vigilant.
I think what we want people to do is be alert but not alarmed. We want people to know that they can help participate in making sure we stay safe by remembering a very easy phrase: if they see something, say something.
Keeping the Marshall University community alert is Brian Carrico's job. As Director of Safety and Health at Marshall, Carrico oversees the university's emergency plans.
We're really prepared in a lot of ways. We have our own incident management plan that was developed in accordance with the Incident Command System and the National Incident Management System. We have people within our organization that are trained and know their key roles that they play in that management system. And it goes all the way from public awareness from the students all the way up to the administration, the highest of administration, so everybody can play their part in any type of incident that we may have.
Marshall University's emergency procedure information is available by clicking on the emergency icon located at the top of the homepage. This year's Homeland Security Summit and Expo was sponsored by Senator Jay Rockefeller, the Discover the Real West Virginia Foundation, the West Virginia Department of Military Affairs and Public Safety, and Marshall University. Joining us now is Dr. Terry Fenger, Director of Forensic Science at Marshall University. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Leah. Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us and our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Marshall.
Well, I'm primarily the director of the Forensic Science Center, and there's essentially two components to that, the academic master's degree as well as working laboratories. So the working laboratories are involved in investigation on the DNA side, DNA testing of convicted offenders and casework. On the digital forensic side, we have investigators involved in various types of cyber crimes. So that component is key to the center's activities outside of the academic realm.
You attended the West Virginia Homeland Security Summit and Expo that we just had a story about. Tell me your thoughts about it.
I think it was excellent to have such a high-profile function here at Marshall. Senator Rockefeller bringing in Secretary Napolitano was an excellent opportunity for all of us to hear directly about Homeland Security and the various problems that need to be solved and addressed over the years.
You not only attended, you served as a panelist for one of the discussions, and your discussion was specifically about digital forensics and cyber-type crimes. What's Marshall's involvement in those type of arenas?
Well, essentially we have two involvements. On the academic side, we have 4 areas of emphasis in the degree program, one of which is digital forensics. So the students get to choose from those offerings. Many times they choose more than one of these areas of emphasis, but digital forensics is the most recent development. On the other hand, we have a working laboratory, as I mentioned, and this involves the West Virginia State Police as well as our personnel. So this is a situation where they take cell phones, computers, and extract digital information off of that, which may be images or text messages, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. And they analyze that for evidence relative to a particular case. And that has to be very well orchestrated in the sense that when you do that type of work, you cannot change the original evidence. So you have to make an image off of that original evidence and work off the image. So it takes a high level of sophistication in order to do that type of work. Of all the areas of forensic science, digital forensics is probably one of the most challenging in the sense that whereas DNA, once you have all your procedures set in place and so forth, it changes, but not that rapidly. In the world of digital forensics, there's a new cell phone out every day, new computer programs and so forth, new apps. And so not only does the expert, the examiner, need to know what has transpired in the past, what legacy computers are available that they may have to investigate, but they have to know what the current and they have to predict the future technologies and deal with all of those.
Our facilities are second to none in the country, but how do your professors, how do staff stay current with all of those things?
It's just the process of continuing education. It's very important that the DNA people go off to national meetings, interact with their counterparts from other DNA laboratories. In the world of digital forensics, it's similar. They need to be at the national meetings, compare notes, exchange information, and so forth.
Speaking about education, let's talk about the graduate program a little bit at Marshall University. Explain to our audience what we offer.
Well, it's essentially a 2-year master's degree program in forensic science. And as I suggested, there are 4 areas of emphasis: DNA, forensic chemistry, crime scene investigation, and digital forensics. So the students that enroll in the program are high level. They have high academic achievement at the undergraduate level. And when they get into the program, they are really tasked with performing well. They have to pass the GRE, Graduate Record Exam, in order to gain entry. They have to have letters of recommendation, and of course they have to pass a background check. In the area of forensic science, someday when they go looking for a job, they're going to have to pass a background check. So we need to know coming in if they're capable of passing a background check. And so that's a unique feature about this program.
How many students do you take a year?
Essentially, we take anywhere from 15 to 20. When our facility is finished, we'll increase the number of students that we take.
The forensics graduate program is nationally recognized.
Yes.
Tell me what that means.
Well, at one time, the national recognition in its own right was something, that we greatly appreciated. But what it means now is it also has a national reputation in the sense that we now get calls 4, 5, 6 months before graduation asking about our graduates and if anybody's interested in relocating to this part of the country or so forth. So in the forensic science community, it has an extensive reputation, and that's very rewarding.
Where do your students go? Where do your graduates go? What type jobs?
Well, it's a variety of things. Most of them go to state and local crime laboratories, in various disciplines. Many have gone to the FBI and other federal agencies, the diplomatic service, CIA, FBI, so the whole gamut. But others choose to go to continue their education in research. Some have gone on to law school, some have gone on to medical school, so it's a variety of things.
Pretty exciting careers,
though.
yeah,
Absolutely. And it's 1 month after graduation, over half our students had jobs, and that's very rewarding.
Absolutely. Well, there has been some expansion at the Forensic Science Center. You have a new facility. Tell us a little bit about what is going on in as far as expansion plans.
Yes. So we have the newest building is a 3-story building, and it's a work in progress. The first floor is with its classrooms and training labs is complete. The second floor has an HADCO presence, Huntington Area Development. And so these are essentially incubators for biotechnology. These are yet to be leased out. And the third floor is, again, a work in progress. This is where the forensic chemistry as well as forensic microscopy is going to be relocated once that's finished. Right now, just a small portion of the third floor is finished, and as soon as we identify the funding, we'll finish that floor too.
Oh, exciting times.
Very much so.
Thank you for being here today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Back with more of We Are Marshall Today after these messages.
From the classroom straight to your computer.
I teach international marketing online 100%. I conduct this class from my office, from my home, and it is 24/7 available to students across the country. I would say this has been one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences, not only for me, for my students as well.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
Marshall University hosts dozens of camps and seminars every summer, and this summer is no different.
One of those events is the annual Jazz Mutaz Festival, where high school students learn about music.
Jazz Mutaz is a week of summer camp for high school students and a week of getting back together for our college students during the summertime to play jazz and learn about it. So we have students from all around West Virginia and some from Ohio that have come in.
I always learn new techniques about playing in a big band setting because you can practice on your own, but there are certain things that you can only pick up by playing with others.
I learned about being in small settings. Jazz is all about happening on the spots, but improvisation, there's new things you have to experience what happens in the real world situation.
One of the unique aspects is that they have an intensive experience over the entire week. Some of them are staying here on campus, getting a little bit of taste of college life, and then others are commuters in the area that have come in. But they're here almost all the day. They're here 12 hours.
I'm taking with me the knowledge that there are other students interested in what I'm interested in, and although most of us are not going to pursue music careers or even a music major, that we still have that common connection.
It's like its own art form. It's different from every other genre of music. It's improvisation. It's communicating with other people and making a product from it.
One, to take home a love of jazz, an understanding of the music, an appreciation for it, and what we want to do is light the fire of interest so that they're interested in that becoming what they listen to, that becoming what they want to aspire to, becoming a great player. So we want to give them some new ears, new things to listen to, and also give them some memories of the camaraderie that they have here at camp, and some good times.
Looks like they're learning a lot there. That's all for We Are Marshall Today. I'm Leah Clark Payne.
And I'm Dan Hollis. Be sure and join us next time for a look at Marshall's annual engineering camp and the President's State of the University address on Capitol Hill.
Thanks for watching.